Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously. So, what do we do? 3, 2, 1, my juice, little lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright, yes. So, it's 1:05 in the afternoon in our old England, my delicious little babies. It has been, if it's raining, it's raining. So, it's been raining all morning. And I don't know if it's slowed down now. No, still raining. Oh, my delicious little babies are kind. And that's the weather forecast, okay? So I hope that the weather wherever you are is super duper delicious and wonderful like yourselves, my delicious little babies. Now then, so there was one video that I needed to write down, and what's happened is I cannot flipping get the video back. Okay, so I'm hoping that it'll come back up on YouTube. My delicious little babies. It's a video that I looked at this morning. I did actually say that I said thank you, bright blessings to you. I will advertise you today, and what it's to do with, I will get it back, so it will come back up onto my screen, I'm sure, my delicious little babies. So I apologise about that, but it's a good little video. It was the uploader has, is it 5.95 thousand subscribers, and it's just like a rather a short video, and what it talks about is well, basically the state of our old England, my delicious little babies. It talks about everything from the gas and lecky bills to the food to everything, do you know what I mean? And where has everybody gone? And plus the fact that it was a really good little video to listen to. It was only like 6 minutes something, so it wasn't long, my delicious little baby. I just wish it had come back up on my screen, okay, my delicious little baby. I tried to look in the, like the videos that, like it saves it, and I haven't been able to get it back yet, my delicious little babies, but I will do. But the thing is, yes, and of course, to do with, at one time, and like, which I will remember, being 51, and, where you've got, oh, there we are. Okay, my little baby, you all right? You all right? You all right, my little princess? Yes? She's, my beautiful little Maze, aren't you? She's nearly 14 now, my delicious little babies. Anyway, all right, little Maze, Mommy's just got to do my video, okay? My little princess, okay. Sorry about that, my delicious little baby. She just wanted to make an appearance, didn't you, my little beautiful? Anyway, sorry about that, my delicious little babies. This does happen sometimes on my videos for anybody who's very kind enough to listen to my videos, or put the occasional comment or a like, so thank you. And I do hope that you find the videos that I advertise, what I'm advertising, that you find them most informative, my delicious little babies, please, and thank you. But yes, thank you, my little beautiful, because my other little beautiful, little Ruby Tuesday, well, she's just having a snooze. Okay, my delicious little babies, so getting back to this video, yeah, and it's like, to do with fish and chips shops. She used to be able to smell the fish and chips. Yeah, I remember it all, my delicious little babies. But of course, over time, it's been, I'd probably say, you could probably smell a bit of the fish and chips, but these days as well, you can smell that many different types of food, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Anyway, but of course, I do not mean that in a wrong way, not at all. I mean, I cook lots of different foods. I can, cook Chinese, Indian, of course, comes first. My English, British, well, not British, it's English, my delicious little babies. And, cook other things like this now, then, Italian, Mexican. Do you understand what I mean, my delicious little babies? So I wasn't saying that about foods at all that I'm saying is where at one time, you used to have, say, one smell. Now you've got a lot of smells, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? Different foods around the world. Anyway, so yeah, I will try and get that video back, my delicious little babies, okay? And, we will see what one's thoughts are, my delicious little babies, okay? I feel really flipping awful about that, because I was genuinely going to advertise it today, my delicious little babies, anyway. So I've got another one here. Now, this one here, the uploader is called Vibes, okay? N frequencies. So it's a capital V for Vibes. So this is all together. Okay, my delicious little babies. Vibes, I can only assume that means, vibes and frequencies. Okay, my delicious little babies. So it's N and then, lowercase, for frequencies. Okay, my delicious little babies. In old YouTube, my delicious little baby. Should anybody have any form of an interest, this uploader happens to have 91.9 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies. This video, what is it? It's over 27 minutes long, my delicious little babies. And it should read, like I say, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest. I am so tired of the illusions. I don't want to be alone in the truth anymore. Okay, my delicious little baby, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? I'm so tired of the illusions. I don't want to be alone in the truth anymore. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now, well, what this is about, I'm pretty sure I've seen this man before, my delicious little babies. I'm pretty sure I have. And what he's talking about is that he explains that, for his for doing a whole month's, let's just say, putting all his effort in, his YouTube videos, and like I said, he's done it for a whole month. Got to keep a handle on it. Well, basically, he was only paid $200 and something. Okay, my delicious little babies, because it appears he's not talking about maybe what would like him to talk about, my delicious little babies. So I can only assume. So I have clearly, I'm pretty sure I have. I know I keep saying it, but I'm pretty sure I have. But I do not believe I've ever watched any of his videos, my delicious little babies. But by the way he was talking, he sounded to myself rather down. He's clearly said that something has happened to him because he happens to see things in a completely different light. He always also explained, that that he, there was a reason to stumble there, that, sometimes he doesn't eat for days. He does happen to have a Patreon, okay? So what he was saying was, with all of the subscribers that he's got on YouTube, if even 200, this is what he's saying in the video, even if he had 200 that went over to his Patreon, just to, I don't know, I suppose how it all works is you give a little donation, my delicious little babies, okay? Then he would be able to afford to live, my delicious little babies, okay? I mean, okay, I got where he was coming from, where he talked about, because you've got ones on YouTube. I've talked about this, my delicious little babies. No end, I've talked about this, okay? Because you got your ones who are ka-ching, 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 hungry now, you know what I mean? The money hungry. And because of that, they'll feed their audiences, very sadly. They'll feed them a load of bullshit. And of course, that's when, they've been a good little girl or a good little boy. So because of that, they get ka-ching, 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 we're in the money, we're in the monies. You see what I mean, my delicious little baby? So I can see what he was saying, but what he was also talking about is the fact that he feels free. And he had rather a lot to say in this over 27 minutes, my delicious little babies, okay? That he feels free. Well, basically, that he doesn't want to be part of like a system with there we are with the material side of it. And really, it's like he talks about egos. Well, I mean, I've talked about, to be honest with you, Martin Babies, right? I've talked about all of this. Okay, Martin Babies, because if you look at a lot of channels, that's what they have. They're very egoistic for many. They're up their own effing hole. There we are. Up their own effing holes, man. Do you understand what I mean? Like the sharp doesn't stink, isn't it? You know? So if you want to find a video on YouTube, where they're talking, everything's about, what I've got, what I've accumulated over the years and everything. Well, you've got thousands upon thousands of those types of videos, Martin Babies. You've got no end of them. Because it's pushing something out, isn't it? But if you look at the audience, okay, there's just something I want to say just while that's just on my noddle. It's like if you look at the audience, that doesn't mean no. It's like they would say, oh, this one's got this house, this one's got this car, this one's got, do you see what I mean, Martin? Okay, so that can create, maybe, in some cases, it can create jealousy and things like this, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I must do this, I must do that to reach that goal. But I mean, ultimately, basically you're feeding ones who've never done a day's work, my delicious babies, when you really look at it. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. But I just get the impression that maybe he was once who I'm talking about to do this video, and with anybody not in that way, that maybe he was once one of those who just loved the ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. The pound, there we are. The pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? But now he's had some sort of, what I feel, by the way he was talking, some sort of realisation, it seems, my delicious little babies, that life is not all about, chasing ka-ching now then, do you see what I mean? Please do not get me wrong, as I will always say, we need ka-ching to live. There we are. It is a common sense, isn't it? Because in order to live in society, you have to be able to, do you understand what I mean? Like buying groceries, paying bills, to clothe yourself. Well, you need ka-ching, don't you, my delicious little babies? I suppose, unless, some of these, shall we say, men or women latch on to a sugar daddy or something like that now, then, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Or somebody who's got a lot of ka-ching, 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 where they, they pay for everything, and whoever it is pays a diggly squat, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? But, I mean, it was well worth a listen, but I just believe listening to him, he is genuinely tired. But I can also say, and that's the reason why I wanted to mention this video, is that, yes, he's come to the realisation that life is not all about ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Do you see what I mean? So what's happening is he's getting rather, I feel, frustrated with some other YouTubers, it appears, my delicious little babies, and he's seeing the lies that they're telling. He blatantly says it. And it is true. Absolutely. And I mean, especially if you look at the real larger channels, my delicious little babies, there we are. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Put it this way now. They haven't got there, without cutting corners or playing the game, shall we say. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Just like millionaires, billionaires, or I don't know these days, goes into flipping trillionaires or whatever. It's all numbers, isn't it, my delicious little babies? But the fact of the matter is, nobody can tell myself now that a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire gets there without cutting corners. Because there we are, because it's a load of bullshit. I was around, like I said, with my job years and years ago, decades ago, you know what I mean, around businessmen, long time, you know what I mean, there we are. So you knew what the drill was, you knew what the crack was. Do you understand what I mean, my delicious little babies, Kai? Usually got a bit here and there tucked away, if you follow me, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? So yeah, but I mean, fair enough. I mean, if ones can, well, number one, get away with it, and because it's going on all over the world, so if they can get away with it, but also for the fact that we can only hope that they do not do too many horrible things, at the expense, there we are, of the average mankind out in the world, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? But the other thing is as well, is that some are just driven, they're just driven by pound, shilling, pence, ka-ching, dollars and change. They're just driven by it. They're obsessed with it. They're addicted to it. Do you know what I mean? It is an addiction. I do genuinely believe that, my delicious baby. Just like when you can get somebody who's I don't know, addicted to, maybe if they're whether you're man or woman, you could be addicted to jewellery, you could be addicted to suits, to clothes, to handbags, to shoes, to cars, brums, wheels, motorbikes or some, there's always, there we are, an addiction. But some are very ka-ching, like they make that deal and then they're on a high. Do you see what I mean? But then when you're coming back down again, then they have to find something else to put them back on a high. Do you see what, there we are? Do you see what I mean, Martha baby? Sorry, I've just you know, run over my own tail there, Martin Shissick babies, you know what I mean? Old fashioned Irish saying, But yes, I mean, but this one here, I feel, has now not been disrespectful or patronising, but the way I was listening to him and, clocked his birth rate, because I was cooking at the time, Martin Shissick babies. I've just had my lunch now and it was delish. But looking at this, he's had to learn a hard lesson. There we are, because to myself, he's clearly at some point, I would have thought, had, there we are, the ka-ching, 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 do you see what I mean? So he's seen one half of it, and now he's seen the other half of it, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? And really, to be fair, it doesn't sound like he's in such a nice place with it. Do you know what I mean? My delicious little babies. But this is what happens, isn't it? It's like I said, one's in the world, they want to make you. There we are. And then they can break you. That's what I was done saying it. There we are, for how long and for how many years. Anybody who's, there we are, known myself, whether it be my very close circle, how I love them, sir, my beautiful, dear little friends now then, or whether I talk to, somebody, out and about, an associate, whatever else, I do not mean that disrespectfully, but anybody who's known me long time will tell you. I've said all this kind of thing for years and years and years. Do you see what I mean? It's nothing new to myself at all, But I do hope and wish that YouTube, maybe they'll cut him a bit of slack here and maybe, or, and just send him a bit more change now then, do you know what I mean, Martin babies? Because after all, nobody should go hungry. But then again, what did I hear him saying? Something about, he wouldn't be receiving, to get cars repossessed and everything like that. Now then, well, I have thoughts here, my delicious little babies, because I was listening to the video, but like I said, I was cooking at the same time. But yeah, that's just came into my noddle. Here's my thoughts, right? If you do not have the ka-ching to make the car payments or whatever else this may be, this is to anybody in general now, my delicious little babies, not just to your man there, but to anybody. If you haven't got it, okay, your pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change, ka-ching. Well, the best thing to do, as sorry as ones would be to see the brums wheels be turned away, is just to let it go, let it go. That's my thoughts, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? So why stress yourself, isn't it? So like this is what I'm saying about the material. So what is more important now? Making a car payment? Just asking simple question. Making a car payment or putting food in your tum-tum? Well, what would be more important? I know which box, there we are, I would tick. Do you know what I mean? My delicious babies, and let me tell you, I prefer food. There we are, in my tum tum. Do you know what I mean? My delicious babies, can. So yeah, there was just some mentioned somewhere in the video to do with car payments. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I do hope that he finds his his way to where he wants to go. But yeah, I mean, it's a long journey. I mean, it's a flipping. Sorry, excuse me, my delicious babies. I said the other day, it can be a very. I do not mean lonely. I'm not lonely. I should have said this the other day. I'm not lonely. That's the wrong, the way it all come out, right? Okay, I mean it like this. It's a lonely journey when others do not get you. So they're not on my same song sheet. They're just not getting me. And that includes anybody around me. They're just not getting it. Okay, my delicious babies. There's very, very few who do get it. Very few indeed. And even then, they're just not interested in wanting to discuss, to even, broaden their horizons, maybe listen to something else, that just not interested. My delicious little babies, do you see what I mean? So I'm not lonely in the sense where to do my own company, there we are, because I happened actually to love my own company, there we are, I do. I mean, call me selfish, but if somebody calls me selfish, so effing what? I couldn't give a fiddler's F. Do you know what I mean? I happen to enjoy, there we are, my own company. I can do what I want. I can get me clean done, can do whatever I want. I can walk out, go for a walk, do whatever I want to do. Do you know what I mean? And I don't have flipping, it's only a figure of speech, my delicious babies. This is decades old, but you don't get GBH of the ear roll. You don't get flipping cha, moan, 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 moan. Down my ear roll, do you know what I mean? My delicious babies. Case that's the beauty for myself personally. There we are. Being on my own. Do you see what I mean, my delicious baby? It's like a question that I get asked. So anyway, I'm going to close my book. We need to go back to where we need to go back to. That's ticked off, my delicious little babies, okay? Yeah, the point is this, my delicious little babies, okay? Well, I mean, I get asked questions like, sorry, before I say anything else, yeah, so that video, so just, if anybody's got any form of an interest, maybe see what your thoughts are with listening to the video, my delicious little babies. But it sounds to myself that it's like a come down. But this has obviously been going on a little while now, it seems. Because, like I said, I haven't watched any more of his other videos. But what I'm going to say to you is that it sounds to myself like a come down. Because to me, he sounds very confident. Like he said, he's very a confident man, bloke. Okay, my delicious little babies, but now he's got the come down from having, all and very sadly nothing. But as I would always say about anything, really what's more important than anything else on this earth is your health is your wealth. There we are. Your health is your wealth. So if you haven't got that, you've got Jack effing Sharman. And that's the fact of the matter. Okay, and I'll talk about something else in a moment. But anyway, let me just proceed. So, what is it that I want to say? So, anyway, yeah, I get asked this question rather regularly. I mean, I do get neighbours, my beautiful dear little neighbours, especially my beautiful dear little Syrian neighbours. They're so beautiful, up the road. I just love them, not in that way, not in that way. I just absolutely love them. I really, really do. Beautiful little families, honestly, and they do worry about me. They're worried about me many a times. They said, are you all right, Carly? You always seem to be on your own, and I said, I'm really fine. I said, thank you, and I always give them a hug and a kiss on the cheek, you know what I mean? And I say, I'm really all right, you know what I mean? But they do there we are, worry about myself, you know what I mean? Like my immediate neighbours do not, uh, or just across the road, simply because they know, put it this way, I have enough eyes and ears who, do you know what I mean? They would know if something was wrong. Do you understand what I mean? My delicious little babies, okay? So if they never saw me, there we are, then they would be wondering why. Then I would be getting, there's somebody at the door. Do you see what I mean? Because they were, which I feel, there we are, is a really good thing. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's like if I do not see somebody for a while, you know, and I say, so, oh, where have you been? You know, are you all right? Is everything all right? So you know where I am. If you need me, just knock on the door. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so it's like that. But getting back to what I was saying now, then anyway, sorry, I'm just going off on one. Like I said, I mean, none of this is rehearsed, my delicious babies. It's just I'm just getting across what I'm getting across. But one of the questions that I get asked, okay, my delicious babies, rather regularly actually, am I married or do I have a boyfriend? I said no, neither. They say why? I said because I prefer nourishment to punishment. Okay, my delicious baby sky. I say that anyway. I usually make ones laugh when I say that. Do you know what I mean? Okay. No, I do not mean it nastily. I mean, I said, if I meet my forever and ever, you know, I'm not in no rush to do it. If I do, then I do. If I do not, I do not. It's, well, you know what I mean? But it's like, I suppose one's just naturally assumed that, I don't know, that a woman should probably be married or something, or have a boyfriend or something. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's a question that I do get asked rather a lot, my delicious little babies. I really, really do, you know. And yeah, so, you know, what else is it that I want to say? Yes. So I suppose, what's the ending to what I want to say on my video today, okay? If, you know, ones want to carry on chasing chink, 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 okay, always make sure that they're fit and healthy for a start. Number two, I would say, and judging by the fact that, I mean, we have got more farmers now, my delicious little babies, okay? I hear it here and there. There's some channels now, because I've advertised them long time, I do not need to advertise them anymore, and I do not need to listen to them anymore. So there's some channels that I do not listen to. I haven't listened to them now for weeks, okay? Because I don't need to. There we are. My job is done. I've done my job. So I have no reason to watch these channels again, because there we are. I was done doing what I needed to do and to get done. That's what I feel as a hobby, to advertise. But we are having more farmers now who do not want all of the poisons, do not want all of the, you know what I mean? And maybe I don't know, with the governments having so much input into our business now as populations, my delicious little babies, okay? So we are seeing that. But I mean, if more and more and more, if we did not support the farmers who do want to, you know, provide healthy food, well, then we would end up in a world, my delicious little babies, okay? Because it would be all over the world, okay? Where nobody's got any food. Well, then, hello, ding, ding, dong, dong, common sense, okay? Which I would have thought it was common sense. You could have all of the ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. You could have all of the gold and silver. You could have diamonds and pearls. But if you've got no food, what you're going to do, you're going to chew on it. You're going to chew on the gold block or the silver block? Are you going to chew on the diamonds and pearls? Or are you going to chew on what used to be paper, which is now plastic, my delicious little babies, on the old ka-ching, ching, ching, you know, that was created out of fresh air? It seems, my delicious little babies, does everybody follow what I'm saying? So, yes, so, yeah. Every now and again, I'll mention videos. Like I said, this will, like I've said on other videos, so I'm saying it today, my delicious little babies. So this will more than likely just be a one-off video again. Okay, my delicious little babies. So I just do my job as I go along, but I really need to get that other little video back so that I can advertise it out to you, okay, my delicious little babies, because what your man there, bless, the uploader, not in that way, what he said in just over 6 minutes, there we are, was so super duper important. So do you see what I'm saying to you, my delicious little babies? What we're going to try and do is get it back, is to get back what we need to get back. Oh yeah, I was listening to, what was it, this, sorry, excuse me, frog in my throat this morning, okay, sorry, yes, this Polish man, he's got over a couple of thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies, and he happened to be saying that he's been in our old England for I think it's about, is it 15, 20 years now, and I think he's a little entrepreneur. Well, anyway, but he happened to mention about, because you know that he said that he lives here, he's built his home here. You know, he's mentioning a few problems that England has, but he happens to really like it here. What he was talking about is that in months to come and in the time to come, that Poland's going to be having some problems, my delicious little babies, from what he can say. But the point is, he did say a part actually where he mentioned about our older houses, my delicious little babies. Well, where he said that he didn't feel that they were built very well and everything. Well, I mean, come on. I mean, come on now. Where's your man coming from with this? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you look at the size of the houses that used to be built, okay, my delicious little babies, even if you go back to the, you know, sorry, excuse me, my beautiful dear little Nana, I love them so, my beautiful dear little Nana and Grandad now, Nanny and Grandad. I mean, their houses were built, there we are, marvellously. You know what I mean? And all those decades ago, they only paid $6,000 for their house, to buy their house, my delicious little babies, how I love them so. Do you say? And of course, if you look at a lot of the older houses over here, they were all a lot larger. So, in other words, what am I saying? You got your ka-ching worth. Do you see? So, I wasn't too sure where your man was going with that. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? And I would say it to anybody else as well. No matter who they are, I'll just be done saying it. If you look at the houses, the older houses, okay, that are spacious, they've got larger gardens, so we have much larger gardens, okay, my delicious little babies, and you compare it to the new build poxy, I'm a living in a box, I'm a living in a cardboard box, you know, and you compare it to a new build where you've got this tiny little patch, you're paying well over the ka-ching for your mortgage now. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little baby? So I weren't sure where he was going with that, to be quite honest with you. Okay, you will get some areas, sorry, excuse me, where some of the houses that they're classed as where there's a little bit of subsidence and things. Well, we've been hearing this for decades anyway, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? So there's no change there. But, you know, sometimes you may have to get, especially with the older houses, probably get them more insulated more and things like this now then, okay? And yes, of course, you know, with anything, you know, there'll be a bit of wear and tear here and there. Well, I mean, come on, it just comes with the territory, doesn't it? But you cannot sit on your camera, come on your camera now and turn around and say, well, the older houses were not built very well, because that's just a load of bullshit. And if you compare it to decades and decades and decades ago, you used to have many beautiful little families now, used to bring their families up, and then it went on a generation and then the generation. And for many, there we are, still lived in the same house. So this is what I'm saying. But of course, you know, he had his view and I've got, there we are, my view. But I suppose if you talk to a, I don't know, a estate agent or something, they'd say, you know, what they're looking for and, you know, things like this now then, do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you can't come out with the you know, the crap that flipping an older house is, you know, not built properly and the new build houses are better. I don't think so. I've got nothing across my shoulders. I'd say no to that. What ones are doing is getting a poxy piece of land, which of course it should be everybody's land. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, but even when they buy it, and that's the thing to do with the mortgages anyway, that's another story for another day, my delicious little babies. But the fact of the matter is, you know, they're paying for F all really, but they're paying through the ching through the nurse for it, isn't it? To get a poxy little patch. That's what I'm done saying. So when I heard that part, I thought, you know what? Bing, off you go. Do you know what I mean? Because somebody can have one. It's not that I'm not willing to listen to somebody else's view. It's just that I've known many who live in older homes, my delicious little babies. Okay, there's nothing wrong with them at all. And we're talking like from mansions to. Do you understand what I mean? But that's what I mean. It's just a difference of opinion. That's all, my delicious babies. But on that note, so sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. Okay, and may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families all be fully protected. It's all right. I just slip in natter on my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? Anyway, and until my next video, okay, and thank you once again for listening. Bless all of your beautiful, dear little souls. I'm hoping that it starts to brighten up today. Anyway, we're not going to worry. Okay? Much love. Love you. Take care. Thank you. Goodbye.